Hello.
Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's some deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's like,
he's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
I know.
How did you say his name?
Hervé Villechaize.
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors.
It's that time of year. It's that time of year where we all need to be thinking about, do we have everything we need to hit the woods? Chances are you don't, and if you think you do, you probably could use some more. So how about you go over to the HuntWorks.com and check out all the incredible products these guys are carrying. This is a great family, local store. Dan and Steve Dunnigan, a couple hardworking sumbitches. They are now carrying archery equipment, everything from bows to arrows to broadheads, quivers, you name it. So on top of all the great tree stands and box blinds that they're carrying, they're now a full-on archery dealer, and really recommend that you check these guys out for your next big purchase. Head over to the HuntWorks.com to see what they've got for sale, or if you're local in the Rochester area, head on over to their store in East Rochester on Dispatch Drive and check them out. They are on social media, the HuntWorks, and also online, like I said. And if you purchase anything online, you can use promo code FEEDIN'Em to get 5% off. And that's FEED, FEEDIN, INUM, 5% off. Feed 'em.
All right, we're recording. I am live on site here. Welcome to Pert Near Outdoors, episode 199. It is January of 2024, and we are at the New York State Outdoor Expo up in Syracuse at the State Fairgrounds. And I'm once again here with the guys from the HuntWorks, and I have with me Steve Dunnigan and Jack Titus. And Jack also works with the guys. And are you hearing me okay? Everything?
I hear you great, Bill.
Yep, good.
All right, so good. So we've been here and working a lot of people in and out of the booth, starting probably a little too early, maybe about 11:30. But we had a good bubble of people coming through, and lives up Syracuse way here, not quite to Syracuse, but he runs a little satellite location for the HuntWorks, and he has inventory there and tremendous product knowledge. So he's been helping out for quite some time. And then he also has a place with your son down in Bradford, PA, right, Jack?
Yep. We're starting some outfitting down there with Sergey Swanson and Randy Titus, my son. We have 750 acres and lodging, four-wheel trails, four wheels.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. You got quite an operation you're starting up down there, and I'm anxious to hear more about that and maybe even partake in it.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
So Jack has got a lot of irons in the fire. He's got the helps out also in the Bradford, PA location, if you will. They got a little satellite down there for the Dunnigans. And
we do since last year. So it's been it was a soft take up based on the Salamanca show that we did, and Randy's 20 minutes away from that venue. So we got to talking. Jack and I have worked together since this show in 2022. So It's been 2 full years, and as you said, Jack lives down the road from the mothership in East Rochester, and we were side-by-side booths that first year.
Yeah, I remember. I think the first year I was with you, Jack was here. You were still in the apparel business,
correct.
weren't you?
Yep, I was with Camel Up. Yep.
and I inherited him.
And his trailer.
Yeah.
And his son.
And his trailer and his son.
So, yeah, kind of.
Which worked out great.
The rest is history, right?
It is. You know, Jack's very enthusiastic about hunting and knows all the product, and it was a great fit. You know, he did that first year. He did the show in Hamburg as well, in his own room with that other company, and you know, it was that show. He's like, you know, what about stocking some stuff in Syracuse? And you know, my brother Tim lives in North Syracuse.
Now, does Tim also stock some stuff up here?
He does, up in
north of Baldwinsville, right?
Yeah, over in Pennellville, that area.
So there's 4 locations, counting your home base, where you know you got some product on display. Is there other spots?
Nope, just up in Ogdensburg.
Has Joe got some
Joe's
up there?
got some stuff up there, but he has moved to the river, so that's kind of in mothballs until this summer, this coming summer.
So lots going on with the HuntWorks and a
lot of moving parts right now,
Yep.
A lot of moving parts, to say the least.
And we're going to talk also a little bit, and that's why I asked Jack to join us with Chestnut Hill in Bradford, PA, and some hunting business that his son and him are getting going down there. Before we go down that path, reflections on the show so far, Steve. What do you think of the day?
It was busier than usual for a Friday. This is our 3rd year doing this, and you know, Friday is typically a lot of look-see, you know, type of thing. You know, it's a work day, but I think there was more foot traffic this year. And buying trends change. You know, the first year, I mean, we just went through every buck hut
we blew through them.
that we could the first 2 days, and it's like, oh my God. And this year it is so far a little bit different, but it might be a bigger ticket item type of thing. So you just year to year you never know. You know what's going on, and we'll kind of figure that out tomorrow, probably.
Well, and it's nice to move product here, but it's also great exposure for people to see the company and what you have to offer. I'm looking. This year we added the gray light, which is a very large elevated box blind, and with actually kind of like a hard window, right? Like a.
It does. It's a hybrid blind. So the buck hut is 4x7, all soft-sided with zipper windows, whereas the gray light is 6x6, and it's hybrid because it has a soft side, but it has actual plexiglass framed windows in it. So it's kind of the hybrid between what the Millennium Buck Hut is, all soft-sided, and what a Banks blind or a Grizzly blind would be, which are totally roto-molded, seamless, hard-sided structures.
So you really got, like the Grizzly, we cover a broad area of price points from even in the hard-sided box blinds, you know, with the stump line, the 2, 3, and the 4, you know, each getting bigger, and then the Grizzly, and then we have the gray light, and then the Millennium line with the Q200, the double buck hut, two person, right, and then Q250
solo,
the solo buck hut, which you killed your deer out of this year, right?
Rifle season,
not that one, but ones like that.
Yep.
Right. And then we got a new hard shell, if you would like. Yeah, it's a hard shell that we got on display, and that's a Ram. Why don't you tell us about the Ram product?
It is. So that's I guess you would think of it starts out as a ground blind, but it's built to be elevated. It is a roto-molded blind, but it comes in 2 halves that are married by a spine that's fully waterproof, and you know the 2 halves bolt together. So that's yet again another price point that kind of makes sense on the way up from the show special $849 buck hut to the Ram blind, which is a 2-piece hard-sided blind with windows in it, but no base to it.
Now the blind itself on that Ram blind is what's your pricing on that?
$1049 year-round show special $900.
So, right. So for $900 you get into that. not elevated, but more of a hard shell.
Yep.
And then for about the same money, it's $850. You can get into the Millennium
8-foot
buck
tower, ladder system, base, full
but soft-sided
frame, but soft-sided.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was really a broad range. And then, of course, you got everything with the old man tree stand line, River's Edge lock-on. You got. I saw you going through crossbows like pretty good today. A lot of interest, I thought, there.
There is. You know, New York is a little behind the curve in terms of crossbow and what the laws are and what the rules are. They're starting to soften. Hopefully that softening is going to happen real quick. It's the only state, I believe, that still has that 17-inch axle-to-axle mandate. And we've been told all different things. You know, it's sitting on the governor's desk. It's not. We don't know. They're trying to get more of a season. They have relaxed the requirement for the older guys or the physically unable to vertical bow.
I think they made it a lot easier.
They did.
To get an exemption
permission
for it, I guess you would call it.
Exactly.
So you could use it for more of the season, correct?
Definitely a growing segment, you know, crossbows.
And it's interesting, with that being said, when we looked at the crossbows and the interest we had there, a lot of that was what I would say the older guys.
It is. It is.
And they all felt, everybody voiced their opinion. They're all disgruntled that they can't hunt with it like the whole archery season. And a lot of them told me stories of having shoulder problems and vision, where it's hard to aim and focus on the peep and then the pin and then the deer.
Right.
Where with a crossbow, you can use the scope and just get on it, right?
Yeah.
So I heard all sorts of stories, as I'm sure you did too.
There's a different reason for everybody. The reason I'm a proponent for relaxing the rules and the laws and everything is because the guy that is 75 years old now, that has bought a license religiously every year, and
for how many years? 50 years
been
or
able
whatever.
to hunt. Under current regulations, he can't hunt. And during archery season, he's no longer able to draw back a compound bow. And he can't hunt the second week of October or the last week of October when the rut is starting the seeking phase, and depending on the year, he can't hunt with a crossbow until the 2 weeks before the third Saturday of November.
Yeah, and which is usually the 5th, 6th, 8th of November.
Right.
You're in full leaf off. By then, it's not uncommon to have a little snow.
Right.
Like I have my good buddy has got an illness that leaves him unable to tolerate the cold at all. And when the weather's good and he could be out there enjoying a little deer hunting, because he can't pull a bow at all anymore.
Yep.
But he can shoot a crossbow. But he's diligent about, he's not going to break any rules. He waits but by then he's colder than hell. So it's, I hope that we get that squared away, because there's a lot of hunters, young and old. I mean, let's face it, one of our problems is recruiting and retaining more hunters, right? And we should be doing everything we can to get more people in the game,
I think so.
Yeah.
No question. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. Guys are, but you're right. It's a very fast-growing segment of this industry, this business. We particularly at the HuntWorks carry the Wicked Ridge 10-point line. It's the same company. They're made in USA, based in Ohio. And the main reason that we only stock them is because on the customer service side, they're about as communicative and reachable as we've found in the industry.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah. So Wicked Ridge is their entry-level bows on up to a certain price point and feature set, and that's when they convert over to their 10-point line.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how that worked.
Yeah.
So it's Wicked Ridge to start, and then the higher end you get the 10-point?
Yes.
Okay.
New this year, and I don't even know the name. I saw it at ATA, played around with it a little bit at ATA, is the 10-point entry level is $999. And then they go up to the 515, the new Nitro or whatever that is. Again, we just saw them 10 days ago at ATA. And that's a $4,000 crossbow.
Yeah, I was, looking on your webpage, I'm looking at the crossbow line, and and it's unbelievable. You know, I mean, a good, you get into a good crossbow for $700, $800, $1,200.
Yeah.
But if you have the expendable money and you want top of the line, you can spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a crossbow.
You
or
can.
$4,000 anyway.
A lot of that upgrade is speed and feature set, but also the optics that you get with it.
Yeah, okay.
You know, they have full range finding optics like the Burris.
That's what I was wondering. What takes it to that level, right? When you start seeing them getting $2,500 or $3,200 for a crossbow, I'm like, what's so different? So I didn't realize that they enhance optics and everything. And
speed, feature set, size, weight. But really what jumps a $3,000 crossbow to a $4,500 crossbow typically resides in the optics that you get with that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So,
well, maybe I can justify it now.
I don't know.
So other than that, let me see. We've got trail cameras. We've got ladder stands. We got tree seats. Our buddy Joe loves the tree seats. We just put a whole bunch of them in his girlfriend's car to take back up north, and he says he's taking more with him when he goes.
Yeah, who'd have thunk that we'd have the call-in orders now at the Expo.
Joe called me over. He goes, I need 4 of the M150s. I need 4 of the tree seats. So far, and he goes, and I'm not done yet. He's on the phone working the orders.
Joe sells more M300s up in Ogdensburg, New York than I think we sell in East Rochester out of the main store.
Everybody's got one.
I mean,
right?
There's no sense not to have one, and it's show special. If
well, like Joe said, the Soul Spread was $80, right? And that is a beautiful, sturdy, lightweight seat from Millennium.
It's extremely lightweight. Anybody that hoofs it in the woods, but wants to stop and have that comfortable seat for half an hour and sit on watch, it's by far the best product out there.
It is, and I have a couple different tree seats that I've gotten over the years, and because I have killed like all of my bucks that have made the Northeast Big Buck Club, I got like 5 or 6 of them in there, but I killed every one of them on the ground, sitting on the ground, under a tree or in a blind that I built out of, and it's funny because I have all this. You'll laugh. You go to my camp. There's ladder stands everywhere. I got them. I get them from you. I've got hard-sided blinds from you. And I go. You sit on a $50 M300. Yeah, and you kill your deer there. But there's a little public service announcement here. There's 2 things that are the most easily lost in the woods. Number 1 is a trail camera, and number 2 is your hang-on tree seat. Because you find a spot that's so good.
You leave it there.
Yeah, I'm like, this spot is awesome. For what they cost, I'm going to leave this one here, and I'll buy another one. So I was up in Naples, and this year my brother and I were hunting, and there was hardly any oak trees, but there was oak. There's a chestnut oak, is a type of oak that grows on the north-facing hill, and that yielded like crazy, and the deer were hammering them. So my brother finds where the deer are feeding. He goes, they're feeding them chestnut oaks up there. So we went up, and he set up in one spot, and he goes, why don't you go down around the point and break over the edge and sit there? I get down there. I find the most beautiful spot. You know what's there? A tree seat that I bought, an API tree seat that I bought, I swear, 12, 15 years ago. So when I come back from hunting that night, I said to my brother, we met him at the four-wheelers, I go, I sat in a beautiful spot. I go, I found your tree seat. He goes, that ain't my tree seat. Mine's over. He goes, that's yours. I go, is that where I left it?
Unbelievable.
But and I'm like, I'm telling you.
They didn't have Hunt Stand 15 years ago. Now you can drop it if you have Onyx.
So now I got
Stand.
Onyx.
Yeah.
Mark where you put your tree seat. Mark where you put your. I still have a trail camera out there somewhere. It was a high-end cutty back trail camera. I have not gone. So that's my public service announcement. But all joking aside, that is a great product. And you can't beat the price, And it's like everybody ought to have one just for when you want to throw it in the back of the truck and
they do. When they come to the Expo and they see that and they're like, wait a minute, this year, $80, they say, tell me about this. And, once they feel how light it is and, we describe the convenience of them, they leave with one. So
I'm going to try, my plan is to post this out tomorrow morning. So hopefully we have a little show impact, all right?
Yeah. Awesome.
So you had, I noticed you got a couple interesting deals here, raffles. So you come here and you buy either a koozie, I think, or a arrow puller.
Stadium cup or an arrow puller that has two different grooves for normal arrows as well as the thicker bolts for crossbow. Makes it a lot easier to pull them out of the targets today.
Sure. Yep.
Especially with crossbows now, you need that high-end target.
And they hold on to an arrow.
And they hold on to an arrow.
Yeah.
So the arrow puller, I mean, it's a $10 arrow puller at retail, and we're you buy one for $10 and you get 10 entries into our gear giveaway, and we're giving away a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. So the giveaway is here.
It is here. It's we're giving away a turkey seat, a $90 value turkey seat every hour. During this weekend, during the show hours, and culminating.
So you're giving away one of these every hour, one of these nice turkey seats.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, that's a nice setup. That looks very comfortable. That's another thing I would mark a pin on my Onyx if I used it.
Yeah. Again, it's something that's I think it weighs 3 or 4 pounds. It's meant for the turkey woods, so it's called the Run and Gun. Our show special
is that
on
by Millennium as well?
It's a Millennium product.
Yep.
So they have stuff for turkey season. Obviously, their biggest component of their hunting side is the tree stands, ladder stands, and the enclosed soft-sided blinds. They also have a marine side.
I noticed that. Is that new?
It is. It's new. The growth of that has been phenomenal. So I don't even know all the products that they have for their marine side.
Have you guys been moving some of that, or
we have?
Obviously, you can get it. You're a
we
dealer,
started out with their boat seats and that kind of thing, but now they've got spider lock, rod holders. They've got they've got a lot of products for it, and it's really taking the boating side of the industry to a very nice level for them. They're selling a lot of it. But the Run and Gun turkey seat, we've got show special for $50. You can buy.
So this seat is $50. And you're giving away one an hour.
Yep.
And is it all through buying that $10?
The $10 either Stadium Cup or Arrow Puller get you 10 entries into that. We're giving away at the end of the show. We're giving away 2 $1,200 flagship PSE bows.
Yeah, the Evo.
The Evo X 30-inch. We've got one in 60-pound limbs, one in 70-pound limbs, but whoever ends up winning those will obviously get them the right fit in that.
Yeah.
We're giving away, during the gear giveaway, we're giving away a Millennium ground blind, the Antler Shack 30-06 ground blind, which is a 4x7, fully framed, so you don't have to worry about snow load.
Well, and talking about that, they redid that. It's a new model this year, that 30-06, right?
They did. On the front side, they made it, all the rage now in ground blinds is the see-through panels, so it gives you that panoramic
what a difference that
look.
is.
So it's nice, and they actually lowered it a little bit. They felt the GB100 that it replaced, which was just a buck hut, a Q200 buck hut.
That's what's different. I didn't notice it.
They did lower it a little bit.
Okay.
Some guys were saying, it's so tall, like I got a spot, I got to cut limbs down on
to
trees
get it in under there?
To tuck it in. And they had brush-in straps to the front side also.
Yeah. They
so
did a great job with that.
Them.
I'm
it's
very
beautiful.
impressed with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's like $400, I think, show special.
Show special $400. Regular pricing is going to be $470. During our normal price on that, and that's why we sold a lot of those today.
Yeah.
So
did they move pretty good for
They
it?
did.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
That's a great for $400. There's a lot of people that came in and looked at that. I showed that a lot today as well.
Yep.
But that's a big hit with people. They like that. And then they look at that, and I can't believe we haven't sold more of the Millennium, the Q200.
We will.
But we will. The show's not over. I've seen it where people come back tomorrow or whatever. And
yeah, like we talked about earlier, Friday is usually a kind of a look-see day.
People are feeling it out, checking it out a little bit.
Right.
So the other thing that's interesting here at the booth, you come in, there's a table. I don't know, what would you call it? Some clearance items. We got trail cameras. So why don't you tell us a bit about some of the things show specials on everything.
show
60%
specials on
off.
everything, so you're not going to come here and pay what you would pay in the store during the regular season. We are confined by the margin of the industry it's typically a lower margin. It's not like selling hooded sweatshirts or that kind of thing where there's huge margin in apparel. The whole hunting industry as a whole is a lower margin thing. And a lot of product is MAP protected. So Tacticam, for instance, which is we only sell a couple of brands of trail cameras. We've tried them all, and we don't care for Spy Point, to be honest with you. That we kind of view them as disposable. And the reason we view them as that is because we've owned 10 of them. We started out with them. And
you guys are hunters and you have camps.
They don't last very long.
Yeah.
I haven't tried one in a couple of years. So they may be better now, but I don't really need to because the Tacticams, they take a picture, they send a picture. They take a picture, they send a picture.
Yeah, I think my son Jimmy's running some of them. I think he's got
He
some.
is, yeah. I think Billy is also.
Is he? Yeah.
He's got a couple now.
So we also run a cutty link system at our camp.
Yep.
And I noticed you had a cutty back camera up here. So are you a dealer for cutty?
We are now. So Cuddy had an issue a couple of years ago. We were going to, carry their link system. They had a shipping problem. I think they had a few technological problems. And we've always been so safely entrenched on the Tacticam side. But we just got in because we saw it at ATA, and they said there's not going to be any distribution problems with this camera, and it's a great price point camera. So it's $109 real world price. Show special I think is $100 or I don't even know.
Yeah, there's one over there. I think it's gone. I think it's sold. I don't see any more over there, are there?
They may have sold. I think we had 4 or 5 out. So we just have to find.
Well, we'll have to talk because I want to expand my cutty link system. You can have, I think, up to 10 or 12 cameras on a.
I think so. We have to talk about that. I don't know that this camera jives with that link
one won't,
system.
But I mean, if you're a cutty dealer, then hopefully you'd be able to. If I'm going to give somebody a business, I'll give it to you guys. I want to put a couple more in. If you have that, this system, we're in our 3rd year with this cutty link system, and one camera is like the home base, and it receives the pictures from all the other cameras.
Yep.
And we have it set to send us every 4 hours. It sends it, and we get a report every day. And I put external battery packs on most everything. I only have one camera yet to go, and I mean literally months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You don't have to go there, touch them or anything.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
It tells you when the external pack goes dead. And I found myself, I'd run out and I'd change the 6 batteries in the external pack, and it would go another 6 months. And I finally realized that what I should do is let the external pack completely deplete. Then it will shift over and burn the batteries out of the camera.
Sure.
Because, you want to rotate them. Next thing you know, you have batteries been in there too long. We've all seen that, right?
Yeah.
So now that's my mode now. That's the kids, since I retired, they give me that job. I got to manage all the cameras. And then I get a picture from one of them, and I'm like, it says South End Middle Meadow, and I'm looking at that going, bullshit. That is not the south end of the Middle Meadow. I send a message to the boys, anybody know where this camera is? Billy's like, oh, yeah, I put it down. It's such a, I did a speed hike up there, and I moved it.
Right, Onyx.
Forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, one thing Jack can speak to, I think, a little bit is because I turned him on to Tacticam a couple of years ago. He had been a little frustrated with other cellular cameras on the market, but in Jack, I think he had a rare problem with one, and we do things by not only the consumer side thinking it's a good value, but also on the vendor side or the manufacturer side, if it's a good company and they're going to pick up the phone when there is an issue.
Right.
Tacticam, I will say, is very, very responsive via email. And they do a great job with that. Sometimes you will wait on hold. But the people that I've dealt with there have been just delightful, and I can tell you horror stories about Spy Point and being on hold for 60 minutes, 50 minutes, and then
for the average guy that buys 1 or 2 trail cameras, they can buy at a big box store or whatever, and if it doesn't work, they go get another one. They're buying the cheapest sample. But
Right.
if you really start running a system, you want customer service.
You need it.
And I know Jimmy's, he's got cameras spread across 3 counties, I think, as does Billy. But Jimmy had an issue with a Tacticam as well, and he was very pleased with how it was handled, and he got it resolved, and they walked him through it.
They're by far the best. I've got 10 of them out now, and they're outstanding.
Are they cellular or are they standalone cameras?
They're all cellular. They all come to my.
Can you bundle the plan, or is it?
You can bundle the plan. What I took is for $5 I get 250 photos on that camera a month, and the other 9 carry over. So I get $2,500 for $50 a month, and I get 2,500 pictures.
Pictures, okay, yep.
And it's outstanding. And like Steve
Nice.
said, customer service is about as good as I've ever seen. Normally, you'll never get a call back. You'll get a text back, and they said, when can we talk? And you're getting somebody on the phone when you got a problem. And I found out 8 or 10 times when I was buying the new lithium batteries after the pandemic, they sat on the docks for months and months. So you're paying all this money for a lithium battery and they're no good. And Tacticam was the one that said, check your batteries, even though they're brand new, check them. They're having problems. So, I was beside myself, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
But now I've gone to all my cameras now. I have the new lithium packs, and so I've bought 12 of them now. So I have 10 of them in the cameras.
It's a lithium battery pack?
It's a lithium
Is it
battery packs
rechargeable?
for $50, rechargeable, and they switch out.
Yeah.
So it's outstanding.
That's a great way to go. The batteries in my cutting link. Now I told you that we have there's 4 in the camera, there's 6 in the external. That's 10 batteries, type D batteries. All right. So I needed some batteries. I stopped at Walgreens on my way to camp. Right. I spent $96 on a hand. I had my hands full of batteries, and I'm chewing these batteries up fast. So I talked to my son Jimmy because he was taking care of the batteries over initially. And he said, there's a special battery, D-cell battery that's it's like a constant light draw battery. It's designed to take that light draw over a long period of time. And so I found those batteries. I buy them by the case.
Are they expensive?
I probably spent $100, $140 for a case. And I was spending $96 for what I could carry in my hands.
Yeah.
That's why I like the lithium packs for
lithium packs
$50.
a great idea.
Is the way to go.
And reuse.
And
So at any rate, we'll talk more about that. I went down a little rabbit hole there, but
great product. And I plan on putting another 10 in next year, so I'll have 20 out.
Are you running them up here or down in Bradford?
Running them both up here in Bradford.
Okay.
Cool. And our hunting camp in McDonough, New York.
So I can tell you, as we sit here at 6 o'clock on Saturday or Friday night, it's not even Saturday yet,
right?
With my aching knees, they're slightly swollen. Billy, my son Billy, who this really his podcast, he just loaned it to me, but he, about the Dunnigans, he always says they're hard-working some bitches, and holy crap.
Now he roped you into it.
Which one?
So yesterday, we got an early start. We were at the shop, before 6 and loaded up, drove up here in the fog and the rain and dark, but we were the last one standing, I think. It was one many people still in this building putting things together. This is a lot of work.
It is. And it's heavy,
It's heavy
Everything's
work.
heavy.
This is an impressive display. You look at this and you see all the blinds. These box blinds are heavy, the tower blinds, putting them all together. And then you look at all the inventory we have stashed underneath all these blinds, and we have pallets of it over there. So the message to anybody listening is get out here to the show.
Save money. Save a lot of money.
Save some money. Take advantage of our social and help us by not having us here Sunday night loading all this back in a truck and a trailer to take it back. So, the more we can sell and leave it in customers' hands, and not have to haul back, the happier
Excellent way of putting that, Bill.
What's that?
Excellent way of putting that. And thank you and Jack as well for, putting up with yesterday and all the help that you gave us yesterday. Because it's a big undertaking,
It was a 12-hour day.
Pallets are heavy, and the State Fair here at the Expo are great. We wouldn't be able to do this unless they had a forklift available to us to get our truck offloaded. And we learned a couple years ago we needed help with that, so we have stuff sent right to the warehouse here, and they bring it over because a pallet of buck huts is it's 3,000 pounds. So a lot goes into this, but we do also understand the consumer side where they're coming, they're spending whatever it is to get into this show, that they should get a deal on stuff. We limit it to this show only. It's we get guys that come in like 3 weeks later and say, well, you sold that for $8.50 at the show, and it's I can get the show price. It's like it really
show
doesn't work
prices
that
during
way.
the show.
Show prices during the show, and
they're smoking good deals, and it's.
And one thing I want to touch on a little bit, not to segue, but at the HuntWorks at our main store, our customers have come to learn, and most of them have been very nice about it. We're not open on weekends, so we get the phone call in October on a Saturday afternoon, and guy wants to buy a $3,200 bank spline or something like that, and say, I want to come out and get it. And it's, we don't open on weekends. And it's, what do you mean? It's, well, I'm sitting in a tree stand right now, and
I'm in my camp hunting.
So we appreciate all of our customers' patience and understanding that we also kind of set guidelines when Dan and I and my brother Tim started this.
Which was smart to establish that in the beginning, to know what you're going to do, what you're not going to do.
Between us, that's, guys, we're not working weekends. If it ever gets to the point where we're working weekends, then, we're going to get some resentment.
Very fruitful.
So,
for you guys. Like, you guys work hard I'm there during the week, and you got 10 million different things going on and many balls in the air.
Yeah.
And
so,
that being said, I mean, you have families. Family's important to you. I can see that hanging around you guys. And, you got to keep your priorities straight, and we can sell stuff Monday through Friday,
We do. Yeah. So
what's while I have you, which it's hard to nail you down. I just said I'm always there, and you got multiple things you're juggling, but it's good to have you, on the show and being able to sit down and chat for a while.
Yeah.
But what's the state of affairs with the HuntWorks? There's product line changes, or what's your goals really for this year, and what's new with the company?
Yeah, so we were at ATA out in the Witches Archery Trade Association. It's one of the shows that, unlike most shows in other industries, have become the launching pad for new products, but not a lot of buying is done there. I know Jack's primary business, he's been, for 35 years, he's been going to a different industry show, which used to be a buy show, and now it's turned into a look-see show. You don't actually write orders.
So there's really a profound difference between a buy show and a look.
In a look
and
show.
Touch,
this industry, the show is still kind of, you write orders there, and you get the benefit of that. But what we plan to continue to do with the HuntWorks is to make sure that we're selling the best $900 soft-sided elevated blind situation. We're selling the best $1,600 situation. We're selling the best $3,000 situation, and that right along the product lines. We talked about trail cameras. We only sell Tacticam and now Cuddyback. So just because that's what we use, so I can, when the person comes in and buys one and they're leaving the store, I know I didn't just sell them a bill of goods.
You can feel good about it.
You've seen our graveyard of blinds and stands and everything behind our garage. We're not shy about buying.
Yeah, you guys put some money in inventory. I don't know how that works, but it's like going to a car lot and having no cars on the lot. You go to the HuntWorks, and there's product out there to look at.
We have the stuff that's there, and it's invaluable. It's, we started out, we're a full-blown archery shop, as you know. You bought your bow from us, but we started out selling tree stands and blinds. And that is still our core. And the reason we have been successful is because if you're in Western New York and you take the time to call us and say, hey, I'm headed your way, to make sure that we're going to be there, and they come over, they physically get in the blind.
Yeah.
And if they're between a stump 3 and a stump 4, you're going from a a little over 5 foot diameter blind to a over 6 foot diameter blind. And that guy that's a bow hunter is going to be able to go from blind to blind and say, I can make this work, or I got to spend another $400 and I'm getting this,
Right.
and this is going to be I'm going to be happy with for 20 years.
That's honestly what sold me on him. I mean, I'd seen him online, but Billy was like, you got to come down and meet these guys and check out these blinds. And
well, we call you Big Bill for a reason. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
You're tall, and the spatial awareness.
I'm tall and wide.
The spatial awareness of physically being in the blind, you can't get that on a monitor, a computer monitor.
You can't. So. And once getting in them and seeing them and seeing how they were built, it's
yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Millennium came out with their best-selling product since 2019 has been the Q200 buck hut.
Yep.
It's been our best-selling product. New this year is, I don't even know what the model number is, but it's a 6x6. So
is that going to be more like that gray light then?
It's going to be more like the hybrid gray light, and it's going to be between, I think the retail on it is going to be $1,300. So you're going to go.
Which really isn't bad.
No, it's not. It's.
And I'm sure the
10 foot in 6x6 footprint. So
10 foot versus the Q200, which is 8 foot. Q200's 4x7. So if you're going to bow hunt out of it, like we bow hunt out of ours, but we quarter turn it.
Yeah,
we anticipate
That's
drawing
I had a couple
on the
customers
7
today,
foot.
and I told them you can bow hunt out of this. You just you kind of know where your shots are most likely going to be.
Yeah.
And you got to position that blind so you're shooting out a corner, so you
so you got
full
the 7
draw
foot
length.
draw
Yeah.
length. Yeah. Yeah. So that 6x6 is something that obviously is going to fit in between there, and I think it's going to be a great product. I think Jack's got to sign off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got to sign off. One of my granddaughters.
Jack,
do you have a minute? Let's talk about Chestnut Hill, for a minute.
Yeah,
you're going to stay with us while we do that?
Sure.
Yeah, so Jack, when we were setting up yesterday, Jack was telling me, I knew that, we had some stuff going on down in Bradford, but Jack was talking about the hunting in Chestnut Hill, and I said, when we do the podcast, Jack, you got to hop on. And you have not yet booked any hunts. You're brand new.
We're brand new. We got the flyers from Steve yesterday, so they came in on the rice situation, as everything seems to be in the world today. But we're very excited about it. We've put 750 acres aside just for our outfitting hunts. So we're asking for 4 people on a week for a 7-day hunt for $1,500, and that includes lodging. We're not going to do food this year, and you can bring your own 4-wheelers or side-by-sides. It's Bradford, Pennsylvania is very mountainous, very oil country, so there's a lot of roads, a lot of side hills, and we're going to allow you to hunt any way you want.
Is there also a lot of state forest around you?
There's not. Nope. It's mostly
mostly private in that area.
Private and timber and oil is around there. We have roughly 750 acres that we're going to allow our 4 hunters on for that whole week. So they will not see anybody else on that 750
So that'll be
acres.
exclusive rights
Exclusive to them.
Now, will you have stands?
We have
hunt locations set up.
We have a stump 2, a stump 3, and a stump 4 on premises.
Okay.
We have a buck hut on premises. We have 2 of the ground blinds on wagons that we pull around with the 4-wheelers and move them wherever you want.
Like pop-up blinds, or like the Millennium?
Like the Millennium.
Oh, nice. So they're on a trailer
wagon.
They're on
a trailer wagon that we move around. And then we've got roughly 15 hang-ons and probably 15 ladder stands. So we have partnered up with the Old Man stands, the Millennium stands, and the lock-ons. So anything that's sold at the HuntWorks we want on our property when our clients come in to hunt of what we sell at the HuntWorks.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons really we put the Bradford situation together on inventory. And
yeah, looking at your brochure, you've got maybe a stump 3. I see one in there, and looks like beautiful piece of ground.
Yeah, we got 3 10 points on it last year, just in the rifle season, the first week of rifle season, and we really didn't hunt it, so we've kind of been waiting, and my son was lucky enough to shoot a 155 class buck. My grandson up from North Carolina shot a 120, and another one of our local guys shot a 120 with a crossbow. So
now, do you have, is that 3 to a side, or is that?
3 on a side is the
3
Pennsylvania
on one
law.
side?
3 on one side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, I've done some PA hunting the last few years, and I am blown away by the quality of bucks that we're bringing home from PA when we go. And it's, guys will get back and like, yeah, I saw a crotch horn, I saw a spike. Now, if a young hunter, we've had some kids with us, some of the guys, and a young hunter could shoot that deer that doesn't qualify, but,
Correct, and that's the same way. What we're going to have at our headquarters and at our lodge is our inventory of what we have on our 15, 18 cameras out. So when you come in hunting, you'll see what the inventory is out there, and you decide what you want to shoot. We're running 7-day hunts for $1,500, like I said, and we're running basically from the 1st of October to January 19th. There's a couple things that your listeners will probably be excited about. 2 times during, once in October, you can hunt bear and deer with a muzzleloader or a crossbow or bow. So that week you can shoot any of the 3. So you can go in your stand with a muzzleloader and a crossbow and shoot that. The other one,
flintlock, or could you use a modern inline?
An inline muzzleloader.
Oh, okay. Because of the late season in
is
PA
flintlock.
is flintlock, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can shoot that, and then the first week of rifle season, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, you can shoot a bear or a buck on that week too. So that is a perfect week if you want to try to get a double header and get a bear. If there's snow on the ground, your opportunities for bear are very, very high. If there's not, they're pretty hard to track in the leaves. So.
And when you shoot them, they don't bleed a lot. I mean, I've shot a lot of bears, not a lot. I've shot bears, and our guys, we've shot, more bears than most, right? They don't leave, that hide is so thick, and there's so much fat.
It absorbs a lot, yeah.
It absorbs a lot. You would think that my brother shot a beautiful bear up at our camp with a muzzleloader, and if it hadn't been for I'll call it a trace or a light crust of frozen snow ice.
Never found them.
We never would have found it, and you would think it would leave a big track, and they don't even tear up the woods running through it. It's unbelievable.
They're an amazing animal.
They're an amazing animal. Yeah.
So anyways, we're excited about it. Again, Bill can leave my information, phone number. You guys are welcome to call me, ask anything. I'll work with you anyway. I've got Bill yourself said like to come down and take a ride around the property. More than willing to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
I didn't get that invite, Bill.
What's that?
I haven't got that invite yet.
I didn't get an invite. I kind of invited myself.
He's always too busy, Bill.
So I said to Jack, hey, what if I wanted to come down before season, ahead of season, and just check the place out, just look it over? He goes, we'd love to have you. Bring your
Sure, I'll be down there really starting
want.
in March doing liming.
Working on food plots.
Working on food plots.
Tell us about the food plots, because a lot of places, you're in PA and you're going to have, you're managing.
We're going to have we already have several food plots, but we're going to have a lot more. We're putting probably an acre of corn in because the bears just live in the corn. And then I had one of our clients in today that was looking at a stump 3 and told me how he planted his corn was he planted beans first, then the corn over top it, and he said it was just incredible. So I'm kind of excited to try that. And
Billy did that. They had corn and beans planted spaced out in together.
That's what he said.
He said it was unbelievable.
That's what he said. He said the deer don't eat the beans off as quick, and then when the corn gets lean, then the beans are there. So we're excited, but again, we'll have that. We think we're going to have quite an opportunity down there. Like I said, we shot a 155 this year. We know we got some bigger ones than that, and
are the does too? Can hunters
what we're going to ask for is
want?
we're asking four hunters for a weekend, and one hunter selected to shoot a doe. So we don't want to shoot four does.
Because you don't want
off.
like everybody comes in, takes four does,
right.
does.
So we're asking one of your 4 hunters chose to take a doe, and you can shoot that doe in that weekend. Yeah. So. Well, guys,
so what? Now you said 7 days. If somebody wanted to come for 4 or 5, could they?
Oh yeah, sure. They could come, and again, depending on what they want to do, you'll see. We have the brochures done, and I can get them out. Bill just leave my information after, and they can give me a call, and I'll send it in the mail to you. Or you can get it at HuntWorks too. Yeah,
you can get hold of them via HuntWorks through Steve and Dan there, and this in East Rochester. But again, if anybody is interested, it's Jack Titus. And Jack's phone number is 315-256-5632. And it's jtitus, Titus, 44 @gmail.com. And I wish you all the luck in the world here getting this going. I'm excited, and I'd love to come down.
We're excited. I'd like to stay on a little more, but my daughter has a basketball game senior night, her granddaughter, I mean, and I don't want to miss it. So
get over there.
Thanks, guys.
So
I will
great.
see
Jack,
you in the morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay,
we'll see
Bill,
you, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Jack. So if we can, I know Jack's leaving, but to kind of touch a little bit on Chestnut Hill.
You want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been I've been down there. I haven't toured the property yet, but I do know, what they have down there in terms of their stock of stands and blinds and everything. And, Jack and I, starting a couple of years ago when we started together on this whole thing, he said he was looking at doing an outfitting situation. And we talked about some of the hunts we've been on. I've been fortunate enough to be out in Missouri on a couple of hunts in Kentucky. And the properties that I hunted out there with outfitters, there were tree stands that I wouldn't even consider getting in. So, we talked.
Yeah, you and I had talked in the past about that. You were blown away. What do I want to say? By the condition, maybe, and the placement of the tree. Like, you're going to have guests in or people that are paying.
Yeah.
And you want them safe.
To get up into that stand on a step that's pounded in rebar, that's been pounded in 22 years ago type of thing. So you've heard this story too many times. I'm in this business because I fell out of a tree stand, and it was nothing to do with the tree stand.
I don't know if I ever heard that story. I didn't know you fell out of a tree. I
failed it. Yeah, in 2005, I fell out of getting into a tree stand. It was a loggy bayou. Again, the stand didn't fail. I did that morning.
Yep.
And gravity works. So I was lucky enough to survive that. I broke my arms and my back, but got to safety and was taken care of. So we started buying Millennium stands. We were always in search of the better mousetrap, the safer mousetrap, and that kind of thing. And we have more than, between Dan, myself, and my brother, we have over 20 M50s, Millennium M50s. So that's what started our whole interest in, we've always been avid hunters.
You're using so many, like, geez, we ought to sell these, right?
Yeah, and, the HuntWorks started in his garage. We were cutting up ash trees because all the ash trees are dead in Western New York. And it was January. It was snowing like you wouldn't believe. So we took a break, went into his garage, sat down on a thing, and he goes, I heard you talking about another business. And I go, yeah, Dick's has left the space. Dick's is no longer in the tree stand space. I had to go to freaking...
Who was it that got out?
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, yeah. Dick's got right out of that.
They got
whole
rid
line.
of their hunting lodges and everything. And I'm like, they were out of M50s that year. I couldn't buy them online. I couldn't buy them anywhere. So they had sold through. It was mid-season. So we're talking November of 2020. Mm-hmm. We had just bought the Avoca property. And I went out to Runnings, and they had 2 hawk stands. And, you know, they were like $180 stands. It was the last two. Dan and Tim, my brother, pulled into camp, and I had the two hawk stands on our south door. And Dan goes, "What are those?" And I said, "Well, I couldn't buy any M50s anywhere, so I went to Runnings and got their last two hawk stands." I go, "That's the first one that I put together. That'll be the last one I ever put together." And
were they?
They're not good stands.
Hanging stands.
They were hang-on stands that had, you know, similar feature set and everything, but the fit and finish and all of that. So I hearken back to that story when Dan and I were talking in his garage, and Dan will call anybody. So the next day he called me. He goes, "Hey, Uncle Steve, we can be the Western New York Millennium dealer if we want." And I said, "How's that?" And he said, "Well, I called. I talked to a very nice lady named Cindy." And she said, "You know, Dix has left the space up there, so you're welcome to try it out."
Wow.
And then the next day was Maverick, which is now Ram blinds, and the next day was Banks blinds, and
things started happening fast.
That's
right?
how it happened. So,
but you know, to your point, you know, I go down, I do some PA hunting with Billy and his gang, the Pertinier gang there, and but you know, we don't have any stands or anything. We're hunting on public ground, and we, you know, you're basically, you know, I don't know if we call it drives, but we might drive 2,300 acres in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
So basically it's an organized still hunt. But to go down to Jack's, I'm intrigued by that. You can go down there, you have accommodations with a house, and then you also have, you know, he said that he's looking at getting one of these machines here behind us at side-by-sides and everything, but, you know, they'll actually take you to your stand, you know, if you don't want to climb the mountain.
Right.
They'll take you up and drop you and come get you and bring you back, which is great. And then he gave me a list of all the stands like he just did that he has, and it's like, you know, there can be a rainy day and you can go sit in a Banks blind if you want, or in a buck hut, you know.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool that he's got a really. I know he just bought some lime and he's working on putting in some food plots. So. I think it's really cool. I'm excited that he's doing that. And I think, you know, the price, like we go down and we hunt public land, and we're down there basically 3 days of hunting, 5 days. You know, we get in Wednesday, hunt Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like $500 for me. You know, we all chip in and rent houses and stuff, and you're bringing your food, same deal. But, you know, for another $1,000, you can hunt private property and get shuttled to your stand and.
And some of that stuff is a la carte. I'm not sure, you know, complete. We just, like I said, he just got the pamphlets in. But, you know, they're like us. They're hunters, you know, and they know what it is to go to another, you know, to an outfitted hunt and that kind of thing, and what they like and what they appreciate. And, you know, you go to Chestnut Hill and hunt with Sergey and Jack and Randy, and they're, like he said, they're going to inventory with their 18 trail cameras, current trail cameras and everything. They're going to give pointers. They've got an a la carte where they'll do meetings, you know, an hour meeting with somebody and really try to dial them in on.
Dive into the property, explain what's going on there.
You know, a lot of guys that go on these hunts, they want to do it themselves, you know.
That's half the fun, right, is figuring it out. But same time, you only got 7 days. If you want to connect, these guys will let you know what's going on, what's moving.
And let's face it, a lot of guys, 7 days is a long time. You know, more guys want that 4 or 5 day hunt. You know.
I was, you know, Al rode up with me today, my brother-in-law, Big Al, and but we were talking about this. I showed him the brochure because I had one in the truck. I said, "What do you think about this?" He goes, "This looks awesome." And I said, "What do you think about hunting for 7 days?" He goes, "I don't think I want to do that." I go, "You know, I go to PA, I hunt hard for 3 days, and at the end of the third day, I'm done." Right? If you said you got to go 4 more days,
but you guys are hoofing it.
We're hoofing it hard,
really
right?
hoofing it. Yeah.
So, but all joking aside, like if I go for a 4 or 5 day hunt, that would be enough for me. You know?
I'm the same way.
Because after a while, I'm like, all right, I got to get back to work, or I got to do this.
I got to
do
go.
That.
Yeah.
I got to go. I was like,
get back to home base.
Yeah, I got a little ADD working too. You know, it's like I'll come hunt like hell for a few days and I'm out of here. So that's why I asked Jack, and I, you know, could I do 4 days, 5 days, come for a long weekend, take the middle of the week. I think he's starting out hoping to sell clean.
He understands though that he's going to, I mean, they're new, but he understands they're going to have to make those considerations.
Yeah.
And figure that part of the business out. But anybody that signs on with them, they're going to be able to hunt out of Millennium L110s, ladder stands. They're going to be able to hunt out of M150s, which is called the Outfitter Hang-On Stand. I mean, it's the 150 Monster. If you want an all-day hunt, which a lot of people want that, all-day hunts.
Especially rut time,
they're going to be comfortable and concealed and quiet for all day of their hunt. If it's raining out, they literally have, Jack built 2 carts, and they put the what was the GB100 ground blind. It's now the Antler Shack, Millennium Antler Shack. They have 2 of them on carts so that they can move them depending on what their trail cameras information is.
Sometimes just time of year makes a difference.
It does.
The deer will work this area, and then you get full leaf off. You're the 1st of December. You need to be in a different spot.
Yeah.
So that's really great. That was very clever to do that.
They don't always follow the plan.
No, they don't. They don't.
Deer, their job is to stay alive 24/7.
And they're good at it.
Even if it takes eating bark.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, I mean, it's great that you folks give us the platform to have these conversations once in a while. And, I know you kind of took over Billy's in his child rearing days.
He's now commissioner of baseball for Attica Youth Athletics, but you can only do so much and still hold down your job and keep your family intact. So he's doing the right thing,
which kind of touches on why we're not open on weekends. I mean, I'm blessed with 3 daughters. Dan is working on his 3rd daughter next month, and hopefully that all works out well. Tim is still working. He's retired Air Force, but still working in a government agency. So he's hustling it up, and we appreciate the patience. We appreciate the notoriety and notability of you doing these conversations with us, and anybody just pick up the phone. www.thehuntworks.com will give us the contact information for us. Our primary store is at 109 Dispatch Drive in East Rochester, New York. But give us that call and say, hey, I want to talk about this, and what day can I come? What day are you or Dan going to be there, kind of thing. And we just, because we do something completely different to pay our bills jobs.
You have your quote-unquote like other day job or real job.
I do.
This is,
I do.
You guys literally, I'm not kidding when I say you have several balls in the air when you're so a lot of times I'll stop in the shop and it's like we don't get a chance to talk much.
Right.
But that's okay. I get it, and I help out with whatever I can, and probably do more of that as time goes on, and just a great crew and fun to be around. And but I hope that I want to. I'm going to record this. I'll get back home tonight, tomorrow morning. I'd like to post it up. And perfect. I know I saw a lot of people I ran into today that were here because, I was posting it out. When I walked in this morning, I took a picture from afar, and I said, it's almost kickoff. I said, stop by. See, so there was 3 guys that they work at Bass Pro, I think it is, or in Utica. And one of them, I used to sell school buses to him down in Norwich City.
And he recognized you?
Well, yeah, we're friends on Facebook.
Oh, gotcha.
He's a big outdoorsman. So he goes, I'm looking through Instagram, and I see your post.
Oh, you posted Instagram this morning.
It said, visit us at the HuntWorks. We're at the Expo. I'm like, hey, guys, you want to go to this at noon? So, but they're going to get some buck huts.
Awesome.
And they came here looking for me. So I think it does help, and that's why I want to post this out because I would love people to hear the products that you just have discussed, the fact that we got some really great deals, and this is nice to be able to come in and actually, meet you guys, meet Tim, meet Dan, meet Joe, and
if you're going to post this in the morning, definitely come by and see us. But this is a good expo. There's
the stuff here.
There's dog jumping.
You can hear them in the background. All the dog stuff going on.
There's really good vendors. There's
there's educational stuff right across from us. Is the Great Lakes Sea Lampreys, and it's talking about the invasive species.
I don't know what the admission is because I'm on the vendor side.
I don't know
so I
either,
in the
but
back
I think
side.
my brother-in-law said it was $15.
$15, and they must have
it's probably
kids
less for
free
kids,
or
right.
whatever that is. But it's definitely a good day. My wife is coming over on Sunday to meet my brother-in-law and his kids, and they have fun every year coming here. So there's things to do on this kind of. It's supposed to be a dreary weekend. I'm a little, I want to get out of here quickly on Sunday. Believe it or not, I'm a Niners fan.
Oh, wow, so am I.
From way, way back.
Niners, Steelers, the Bills, and who was my Green Bay. Those are my,
no kidding.
So it's been a fun year for me.
So I grew up in Buffalo, so I'm obviously a Bills fan. But I'm a secondary Bills fan because I'm a primary Niners fan.
Are you a primary Niners? Yeah.
I am, yeah. Joe Montana.
So you got to get home for that game.
Right. Joe Montana had dinner in my house when I was in 8th grade.
Really?
That's, so he got drafted out of Notre Dame and had obviously a successful career with the.
Yeah.
I didn't get his autograph. I was in 8th grade. It's like some kid from Notre Dame. So
made a lasting impression.
Instant Niners fan.
But to your point, going back to the show, this is the first time that I've been here that I walked around. Like my brother-in-law, he's been wandering around the show, and so he's like, you got to see this, you got to see that. So I walked around here, and they're doing some seminars up here. There's everything from ATVs to clothing, camp furniture, campers, food, clothing.
A lot of great food places.
It's unbelievable. Seasonings, pickles.
Absolutely.
Joe comes back with a pickle. But, I was blown away with the diversity of vendors here. So there's really a lot going on.
Yeah, you probably
great show.
Didn't really take the time the last couple of years to actually walk around because you're too busy here.
Yeah, and I didn't. Like today, I
booth.
just did a loop, but I'd like to check it out some more. So, as Steve said, come to see us, but come to see the whole show as well.
Yeah.
And help us out by tucking a cardboard box under your arm and taking it home with you when you go. So
right.
All right. Well, hey, Steve, thank you. Appreciate you
Bill.
jumping on with me and taking me into your little HuntWorks family here. I do appreciate it.
We appreciate
it's
you.
It's a great friendship and a lot of good times together. So, in the meantime, we'll encourage everybody to keep feeding them. See you later, folks.